All right, so maybe you're a businessman or a businesswoman. Maybe you're in a profession where you cannot carry a bigger gun. Maybe you like to jog. Maybe you like wearing Speedos on the weekend. Whatever the case may be, you need a pocket rocket, and I'm gonna tell you why. What's up, and welcome to the channel. My name is Headshot, and thank you guys for joining us for our top 5 pocket rockets, and this is going to be a fun video. I'm going to tell you our top 5, of course. I'm going to give you pros and cons, what makes a good pocket rocket, and why these particular guns make the list. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this. Now, what makes a good pocket rocket? Well, it has to have a couple of key characteristics for you to be able to call this a good pocket rocket. The first one being grip size. Now, I love this gun, the FNX 45 Tactical, but this unfortunately is not going to cut it as a pocket rocket. This gun is way too large, and unless you're wearing Jinkos or something ridiculous like that, you're never going to be able to fit this into a pocket. You can tell I was the 90s, baby, and yes, I did wear Jinkos at one time, but I don't anymore. I wear men's pants, and I can't get that into a pocket. So it's got to have a short grip. It's also got to be light. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you may be thinking, okay, short grip, maybe Glock 26. The problem with that is you have to load it then. So unloaded, it's a little bit different. You load it up, now you have almost 2 pounds jingling around in your pocket, and that can be very uncomfortable. Trust me, I have tried, and I don't like it. So it's got to be light, small grip, and of course, it has to be reliable. Let's go ahead and get started. The first gun is the LC9S Pro. It is a little bit of a bigger gun, single stack, 7-round magazine, made by Ruger, of course. But this could definitely be a good, bigger option on the pocket rocket scale if maybe capacity and caliber is a concern of yours. Chambered in 9mm, 7 rounds, plus 1 in the chamber, so you have pretty good capacity for what can be a pocket gun. Now I'm going to leave some specs for you here on the screen, but like I said, it's on the bigger side of things. I think unloaded it's like 17.3 ounces. It comes with a 7-round magazine. You can get 9-round magazines for it. That would be my backup if I was going to carry this gun in the pocket. Finger extensions. Of course, with finger extensions, that's going to affect how it fits in your pocket. You can get those options again on a backup magazine. I think that's a good option, you know, a good thing to do. Keep it on the backup magazine. But one of the best striker fire triggers on a gun, period, hands down. The trigger on this thing is fantastic. The reason I say that, the reason I bring that up is because that really is what makes this gun so unique. It's got a fabulous trigger. You can get them with the safety. Now, here's the thing about the one with the safety. It has a magazine disconnect, and it has a safety. The safety is a con, in my opinion. There's too many self-defense situations that happen within, you know, 9/100ths of a second. So let's just take this for an example. One thing I read on the USCCA's website is, let's say somebody decides that they're going to pull the trigger and shoot you. It takes them 9/100ths of a second to pull the trigger. They've already decided they're going to shoot you. So not only do you have to try to make the choice, am I in a threat? Is this a situation where I am going to die? You have to then make that decision, pull the gun out, pull the trigger. I don't want to deal with a safety. I don't want to deal with any other thing because time is of the essence, and these things are quick. They are within reaching distance a lot of the time. To me, I just don't like it, but I understand why some people do. So that is an option. But this gun to me is a gun that you can take to the range, you can have a good time, and you can really get some really good groups with this gun. But most importantly, it is something that can comfortably fit in a pocket. It's on the bigger scale of things, but it can still fit in that role if you need it to. One more thing about the Ruger that's really great is it actually comes with real sights. So you'll notice that as we start to get smaller, and some of these guns on the list, they don't have real sights. They're point and shoot, up close and dirty kind of gun, but this one has real sights, which is pretty great, and they're adjustable for windage, steel sights at that, so really awesome. The one con on the Ruger, it only comes with 1 mag, so you have to buy a spare magazine, but for a sub $300 gun, I can live with that. Now this is an even better belt gun. Now when it comes to the belt, obviously this is not inside of the scope of this video, but when it comes to the belt, I get a lot of questions about holsters because we do a lot of EDC gun videos and concealed carry videos. What I like to ask people when it comes to inside the waistband holsters. First question, do you want a drawer full of holsters? Well, most of the time people say no. I say, well, good. Try Tolster. Reliable, snug fit, minimalist design, and adjustable cant, lifetime warranty, some of the coolest looking colors you've ever seen. Not that that matters a whole lot, but they do look really awesome. Tolster, for me, is the way to go. I'm a minimalist when it comes to everyday carry inside the waistband, which is what I normally do and what I like to do because, you know, better options, better guns, more rounds. It just, for me, I like it better, but I understand the role of pocket guns. That's why I'm making this video. But to me, I love that. But I'm not going to buy my pants to fit my gun. I'm going to buy my regular pants and make my gun fit in there. And that's why I like the minimalist design. It doesn't cause me to sweat. It's very simple, but it's snug. And I know that my gun's going to be in there if and when, God forbid, I ever need it. When it comes to pocket holsters, I'm not so keen on them. You know, I'll buy a cheap nylon holster inside Walmart just to try it out. I've done that quite a bit, but I will leave some options for you guys down below. And if you want to, if you're looking at what's nice about the LC9S Pro is it's a dual option. So maybe you have to carry very, very deep concealment at work, but you also want to carry on your belt on the weekends where you're more comfortable. I'll leave the link for Tolster down below so you can actually try these holsters that I'm telling you about. And then I'll leave you some other options for pocket holsters that I'm not so keen on, but I hear a lot of people have really good luck with those as well. And the Tolster's discounted through our channel, which again is pretty awesome. We have a lot of discount codes. There's a lot going on in the description box, so check it out when you get a second. Now, number 4 on the list is the Glock 43. This again is on the bigger end of things when it comes to pocket guns, but this one is around the same weight of the LC9S Pro. You have 6-round magazines now, a very short overall grip, and a lighter gun. So even though it's a single stack, it again can be a dual option. You carry it in the pocket when you need deep concealment, carry it inside the waistband whenever you can, you know, appropriately for you. So it can be a dual option. Glock reliability, this thing, it really set the market on fire in a market that was already hot a couple of years ago. You know, Glock coming out with a single sack 9 was the biggest thing ever at the time, and it's really, really taken off since then. Now they're generally $400 now is what you can find them at, which is much more reasonable than what they were when they first came out. But you have that reliability that, you know, people know Glock for. You have a short overall grip. You basically have a Glock, but there's a lot of things about it that are lacking from your normal Glock 19, 17, 26, and rightfully so. It's a lot slimmer, smaller than the regular Glocks. Cons on this one, the trigger is not the best. It is not like a regular Glock trigger, but it's definitely a good shooter. And for those people that really like Glocks and they want to stick with those, this is another pocket gun that can really do well for you, and it does great at the range. Now, you'll be doing a lot of reloading with these guns if you do take them to the range, so if you go with your buddies, just let them know ahead of time, hey, I'm going to be reloading a lot, so just give me a break. But it is a good shooter, and it has that Glock reliability. One more con that I know of on the Glock are the sights. I've talked about this a lot. This is well known that I have talked about the Glock sights, but the aftermarket for Glock is pretty much unmatched. They've been out a long time, and they have a lot of different options that you can go with to make it more like your own. All right, number 3 on the list is the M&P Bodyguard. Now, if you've watched our channel and you keep up with our channel, we've never reviewed the M&P Bodyguard. This is not something that I really like to do, but I trust enough people here on YouTube that say the M&P Bodyguard is a a fantastic gun. So I looked up some things about it. I've watched several videos on this gun, and I'm going to tell you why I think this gun deserves to be on the list, even though I have never shot it. I'm putting the trust of several reviewers and reputable people here on YouTube. But this gun is a small version of your M&P with some little twist. Lightweight, very small, with a safety now, but the safety is pretty passive. So if you don't want to use the safety, which I probably wouldn't, then you can leave the safety off and bypass it. Just understand that in a situation where something can happen, it may happen, and that safety may inadvertently turn on. But from what I've seen, those safeties are really passive. Again, on this gun, you have real sights, which is great. And you have that M&P grip. They have the M2.0 version of the Bodyguard. They come with, some of them come with lasers built into them. So it gives you a lot of options. And again, Smith & Wesson is one of those companies that gives you a lot of bang for your buck. And that's a great thing. You know, under $300 for most of the time, depending on which model you get. You can go with the original model that came out for even cheaper. So now these guns come with 6-round magazines of .380 now. So now we're stepping down in calibers. But the thing is that as these guns come down in size, they go up in value, because now where maybe an LC9S Pro was a little too big to be a jogging gun, this gun you can now jog with it. You can now wear your basketball shorts when you're going to the gym or whatever the case may be, because it's so light, but it still gives you a decent amount of firepower in a little package like that. Slim overall design. The one big con on the M&P Bodyguard that I've seen is the trigger. It's got a heavy double action trigger. A lot of people actually like this because it being in your pocket, even though it's in a holster, you know, they still like that security knowing that, hey, you got a pretty heavy trigger pull before this thing goes off. So some people like it. It's just something you would definitely want to make sure you run rounds through it. Make sure you're practicing your draws if you can. And you just got to understand that trigger pull is a lot heavier than most of the guns on this list, and you just got to kind of get used to that. But the M&P Bodyguard, man, I think, you know, we are going to get one for the channel just to review it, but I trust that this gun, from what almost everybody says about it, for what it is, it's a great option, and I put it at number 3 for the list. All right, so number 2 on the list is the Glock 42. I know it's another Glock. A lot of people think I hate Glocks, which I really don't. I'm just realistic in knowing that some guns have flaws. Almost all of them have flaws. And I see some of the flaws in Glock 42, but this one is even lighter. And this is one that we've actually kept around. This is Mrs. Headshot's daily carry most of the time. Really, it was the first single stack Glock on the US market. 6 rounds of .380. I'm putting some specs up here for you. It still has those Glock sights, which I hate, but it really gives you a good option inside the pocket when you need something a little bit lighter maybe than the Glock 43. All the aftermarket, as with any Glock, pretty much is still there, and it's just an overall great gun. Inside the waistband, Mrs. Headshot carries this a lot inside the waistband with her holster, and this is literally like carrying nothing. It is so light. 6+1 in the chamber with an extra magazine. I mean, it on the belt it's nothing, and in the pocket it's not much more than that. If you need to protect yourself, you know you have a decent firearm. Again, some of the flaws that I see with this one, the trigger is not like a regular Glock trigger, and of course those sights, I absolutely hate them. Now, with the smaller guns, something you want to keep in mind is that if you have any kind of weakness in your hands or anything like that, the slides get stiffer as they get smaller. You may think it goes the opposite way, but some of these guns are really stiff, so you want to keep that in mind. If you go into a gun shop, just take some time. Go in there, rack the slides, ask them if you can pull the trigger and that kind of thing, and just, take some time with it and know that, make sure that you know how to manipulate the gun. If not, it's something that you can definitely learn. But with Mrs. Headshot, she doesn't have, obviously, as much strength as I do, and she racks that gun just fine, but it just took her a little bit of practice to do it. So, and number 1 on the list, another one that we kept, and another Ruger. And I really hated the first option of this gun, but the second one I really like, and that's the LCP2. I think, to me, this is the best pocket rocket out there. They have done some improvements on the trigger, which is just really great. They now have this secure action is what they call it. So you have a pre-cocked hammer, and with that trigger, it really is a step above almost all the guns in this range when it comes to the trigger. They really do a great job. Ruger does a great job with their triggers, I have to admit. And with the grip texturing, the trigger, this is just it. Carrying this thing in a pocket, I mean, I said the Glock 42 was like carrying nothing. That one is really like carrying nothing. It is so light. The grip is so short. It does have some shortcomings. Now, this one does not have real sights. This is one of the few guns. This is actually the only gun on this list where you're not going to have a real set of sights on this. You're going to have point and shoot, up and close, type of things. Now, all these guns are up close and dirty. If you're 100 yards away from somebody and you have a Glock 42, you're not going to be getting into a gun battle with them. You need to run away. But the point is that those guns, you can change the sights out. You can adjust them. These are built into the slide, and you just don't have a lot here. So a lot of people will paint the front serrated, sight right here, so they have a little bit more to focus on. But pointing and shooting this gun, it really does a good job. Probably better than you may think. One of its shortcomings, though, is it is not comfortable to shoot. Now, you may not expect that, but it is not a comfortable gun to shoot hundreds of rounds in one sitting. It actually started to hurt my hand quite a bit as we started shooting it more on the trips that we've taken it out. 6+1 in the chamber of 380. But this gun, to me, under $300 just offers a heck of a lot if you need a good pocket gun. These are our top 5s. If you have a better list, if there's a gun I left off the list, or if you have your own top 5, leave it for me down in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.